All right, so today's quarantine craft is again featuring a toilet paper roll, and we are going to make a little squid. You can use any color that you'd like, whatever yarn you have, whatever paper you have, as many colors as you'd like, it doesn't matter. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna move all my stuff out of the way, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna paint the toilet paper roll just like we always do. So you can pick whichever color you want, just make sure you give it a shake. I have purple yarn, so I think I'm just deciding if I wanna use pink or if I wanna use purple. I think I'll go with the pink. So it's kind of like a raspberry color. I think it'd be kind of neat. So just paint the entire roll like we always do. Oh, I'm gonna shake it a little bit more, sorry. All right, that should be good. And I use a really wide brush. It just makes the painting go a little bit faster, but you can certainly use whatever you have. You can even use your fingers if your mom will let you. So I'm just gonna check my toilet paper roll and make sure that it's a really nice circle. I don't have any dented sections or anything like that. Whatever you have is whatever you have. So if you have a paper towel roll, and that's all you have, just cut it down to whatever size you want, and then kind of, make it into a circle again, and then you can certainly use that. So now that I have all the outside painted, I'm going to paint just a little bit of the inside of the top. You don't have to go very far down, maybe an inch or so, just so that you don't see any of the brown on the inside from the very top when you have it kind of sitting around, or if you choose to hang it, whatever it is that you want to do with it. But just to kind of, color that in a little bit so it's not brown. All right, so I'm just going to let that dry now, and then we will come back in just a second. All right, so now I'm going to use just a piece of scrap paper, whatever it is that you have, and we're going to make the little top fin. I don't know what you call it on the squid, but it's like that top plate of its head. So I'm going to lay the toilet paper roll just across my paper. You just need the top part. I'm just going to kind of sketch around or trace around the outside so that I can kind of see how wide it needs to be. And then I'll find the center line of that little box. I know it's kind of light on here, but you just find the center line of your toilet paper tube, fold the paper in half, and then you can draw only on one side and then cut it off that way so that both sides will be even. All right, so you can see the half of the tube here. You want to start down just a little bit, maybe like a ½ inch or so, a quarter inch, whatever you want to do. Just put a mark there. Make it a little darker. And then you're going to draw the shape of the top plate. And it's kind of like an egg with an extra little flap on the side. So you can kind of see that if you would just make that round, it would sort of look like an egg, where it's skinny at the top and wider at the bottom, but it has that extra little point on there. So then you just go ahead and cut that out. And if you don't feel like, freehanding it, you can certainly probably find something online and trace it that way, but it's up to you how you want to do it. So this is just your template. This isn't the actual piece that you're going to put on. This is just so you can test it and see how you like it. See, I don't really like how pointy that is. I'm just going to kind of trim that just a little bit so it's a little rounded at the top. And then now I'm going to put that onto my purple paper. So my purple paper actually has a texture, I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of bumpy. So I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to trace on the back side of that so that I leave all the pencil marks on the back side of the paper, and you won't see them from the front if I accidentally miss cutting something off. So I'm just using a pencil. You can use whatever you have nearby, it's fine. And then you're going to go ahead and cut that out as well, the same way that you did with the template piece, except this obviously you have to go all the way around on this one. And I always cut on the inside of the pencil. It's up to you what you want to do though, because then you don't have to go back and erase. Sometimes when you erase on these colored papers, it can actually take some of the pigment off the paper. So I always try not to actually erase on these. I just cut on the very inside of the pencil or pen or whatever it is that you use. And it will sit kind of in there just like that. So you're going to put it right on the top. If you kind of just set it right up, find the middle, and then you're going to put a pencil mark on each side where the little fin or the plate comes down on the toilet paper tube. And then you're going to take a scissors and you're going to kind of just make a little score marker, a little cut. It's not very big. The deeper you have it, the more it'll eat up of the plate. So mine's only probably about 1/4 inch. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's maybe about 1/4 inch deep. You just want to have it deep enough so that the paper stays in there. You may have to kind of fiddle a little bit with the pieces of the cut to get the paper to go in there nicely, or open them like on one side. It's a little tricky to do with only your one set of hands, but if you kind of just bend them out a little bit, it usually slides. Oh, mine's offset, hold on. It'll usually just kind of slide right in there. This is the only tricky part. So I'm going to bend them out, maybe that'll help. Yep, there we go. So you just have to very carefully slide them down. You don't want to like jam it in there, otherwise it'll bend your paper. So just kind of jam it in there and then, or not jam it in there, place it in there and then pull it in between, so like that. All right, so now we're going to pick our eyes. My Google eyes are actually stickers. I have these ones that are individual, or I have the sets where they're kind of together. If you don't have stickers, you can certainly glue them on or hot glue or whatever you have. But you can use whatever. Oh, I'm going to use the green ones, I think. Those will look cool on the pink. So again, mine are stickers. You're going to put them right, make sure you line it up in the middle of the fin or the plate so that it's all in the center. And then I'm just going to give it a little squeeze to get those sticker pieces to stick down. Just like that. Isn't that cute? All right, so now you need your hole punch. You can get everything else out of the way. And you're just going to punch holes around the outside and the bottom. So you want to leave it's probably 1/4 inch up. You don't want to do it right on the edge. And then you're just going to punch. It is a little tricky it shouldn't be tricky, it just requires a little bit of force to actually punch through that. My toilet paper tubes, as I've said before, are like supersonic. They're super thick and just very, very sturdy little things. So it requires a lot to punch them. You're just going to keep going, trying to evenly space them as much as you can. Doesn't matter how many you have. If you only want to have, a few, you can certainly just have a few. It's up to you. And when you get close to the edge, you want to kind of see how far you have to go and sort of evenly space. Like maybe you need 3 here if it's a little bit wider, or maybe you only need 2. I'm just going to do 2 of them because I don't think having 3 together might be a little too close. So I'm going to do 2 here. And I'm just going to make these a little bit further apart than the other 2 just to get it so that it looks like it's evenly spaced. Just like that. My eyes keep bumping up here. Let me push those down. Hold on. Here we go. So I'm going to just get my yarn here, and I have that purple, the really thick purple yarn. Whatever yarn you have. So if you don't have really thick yarn like this, you can certainly just double up or triple or make however many strands you want per section. So I'm just going to cut a couple here to begin. They're probably, I don't know, about 12 inches long. But again, you can make them as long as you want. If you want really long tails, if you're making more of like a jellyfish type of look, you can certainly do that. You don't have to have them the length that I have. It's just kind of what I think will look cute. I don't know. And you can always make them longer and then trim them later too, is fine. So, and you don't have to have the same color yarn that you have for the body. That can certainly mix up the colors. If you have only white yarn, then that's what you have, and then you make your body whatever color you want it to be. So you just take one piece, put the 2 ends together, the 2 cut ends together, find the loop at the top, and then the loop, if you kind of pinch it a little bit, the loop is what's going to go in the hole. So I start from the inside and go out, and then just find the little loop. Just open the little loop with your fingers, and you're going to push the two tails, both tails, right through that loop, and then you just pull the tails down gently. You don't want to rip them out of the toilet paper tube, just like that. And then you're just going to keep doing that exact same process. Make sure you always go the same direction. So when like the last one I started from the inside and went out, this one I'm going to start from the inside and pull the string out. If you go the other way, that's totally fine. Just make sure that you do them the same, and make sure your tails kind of stay even on the bottom. You don't want to have one that just all of a sudden gets really, really short and the other ones are really long. Every time I pick up my toilet paper tube, that little fin on the top or the plate on its head kind of gets in the way. It kind of, hits the table. If that becomes a problem and it starts to bend yours, just take the little fin out because it's not glued in place anyway. Just take it out, and then you can, put your strings in first, and then put the plate back or the little piece on top back inside. So I need just a couple more here, and then I should be good to go all the way around. So this is the last one here, and I'm going to just give it a tug. Then I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to put all of them in one hand to give them a little tug out the bottom. Like, this is a gentle tug. You don't want to rip them out. And there's your little squid. So I did do a sample from before. This one has a teal body and little tails, a little bit longer, but looks cute still that way too. So I hope that you enjoyed this craft today. If you don't mind sharing your creation, that'd be great. You can just post it below, and I hope you have a great day.